Welcome back to a brand new spoiler review here at Max Talks Movies. Today we're talking about the spoiler review of the season finale of She-Hulk. We're going to wrap up the entire season, look at my general thoughts on the show, where does it rank for me in the MCU, all of those things. So please subscribe, ring the bell if you're new to the channel. I do movie reviews, TV show reviews, including Wednesdays, doing current reviews of Andor. Also, I do movie rankings and a box office breakdown show every single Monday. So please subscribe, ring the bell if you're new to the channel. Comment down below. First of all, where does She-Hulk rank for you in the MCU shows on Disney Plus? Is this your favorite, least favorite? And let's stay nice here. This is not a community. If you have some hate comments or anything like that, you're going to get blocked and kicked out of here. We just want positive comments. If you don't like the show, you don't have to like the show. If you like the show, you can like the show. I'll get into that rant in a little bit, but please comment down below. Let me know your thoughts on the show. And please like the video, guys, the thumbs up button. That's how you support this show. So before I even get into my thoughts, as I just said, I wanted to give my little rant out of the way first, which is it is okay to like or not like a show. Again, this show has been through the mud with a lot of hate comments about people who maybe just don't like the show. There are people out there who just don't like the show and aren't hateful people. I feel like people like myself, I don't want to be thrown into the category of people who are just hate tweeting the show, saying sexist things about the show. That's not where I am. I think people are allowed to really love the show, and I think a lot of people are allowed to hate the show if they hate the show. It's the way you go about it. And hopefully today you guys understand where I'm coming from when I talk about the show, because this is definitely not one of my favorite MCU shows. I'll get into why in a bit, but it doesn't mean that if you love the show and you thought the show was hilarious and you love the show, go love the show. And if you don't like the show, you also don't have to like the show like myself. But I'm not liking the show due to critical reasons, the way the show was structured, all these things, not about sexist things or anything like that. So let's get into the review now with that behind us. So I'm going to break down the finale and then I'll give my general thoughts. I had a really fun time with this finale. I don't think it was a great finale, but it was actually the most fun I've had watching She-Hulk all season long. So this episode kind of all the way comes together when Jen's in prison at the beginning of the episode. She loses her job. She loses her house. She starts living with her parents. And this is when her best friend, Nikki, gets into intelligentsia. And they said pug in, and we learned that this is Abomination's camp, and all these things happen. And this is where, Todd obviously is the Hulk King, which we've known for a long time now. And then all of kind of the story does become way too chaotic because you have Todd turning into a different version of Hulk. Then you have Abomination showing up. Then you have Bruce Banner as Hulk showing back up. There was just so much going on. And it's where Jen breaks the fourth wall and is basically like, this is a really chaotic, too crazy, and bad story finale. Let's go into the Disney Plus stuff. She goes into the Disney lot. They're really meta, really breaking the fourth wall. There's a good joke about the NDA. And then she goes into the writer's room for She-Hulk, and she's like, I just got to talk to Kevin. And obviously, we all assume that Kevin Feige's gonna appear in MCU canon. But it's like a Wall-E robot, the robot villain. It's Kevin, as you can see right over here. And Kevin and Jen kind of have this back and forth. The jokes about the too expensive CGI for the character, the way Marvel movies usually end, all of these things. She wants Daredevil back in the mix. So all of these things kind of sort out the issue storylines of the episode, which then Todd just gets arrested. And then Matt Murdock shows back up, and then Jen and Matt go to have this family dinner. You have Bruce Banner Hulk saying that we finally get Scar in the MCU, which is Bruce's son. The CGI was not great. It does not look like the comic whatsoever. So it should be interesting what they do with Scar moving forward. And then Abomination goes to prison because he obviously turned into Abomination, which means 10 more years in prison for a meal. And then, Jen's going back to court, which is a good thing as well as a lawyer. We do have the post-credit scene is Wong taking a meal to Carmartage. We shall see what's next. So overall, that's my little breakdown. Sorry, really quick, because I want to give a lot of my general thoughts on the season as well. I felt like this was a really fun episode. Now, you can clearly tell that it is the stories are true, that the show was shot with episodes out of order. I mean, shot in order, and then post-production, they changed the order of the show. And you can just feel in this episode how choppy it was. And while the fourth wall breaking was really good, it just took all of the stakes out of the whole season, in my opinion. I think the actual idea of the meta breaking the fourth wall was good, but it just kind of killed a lot of storylines that were built up throughout the entire show. Now, yes, was the Intelligentsia story that interesting? Probably not, but we just end up with a bland ending to that storyline. And I do feel like moving forward, it should be interesting what they do with Jen's character, maybe out of this show. I'm not sure if I believe we're getting a season 2. I believe she'll be in the Avengers films, but again, I'm really interested to see her character outside of the show, not in a sitcom format, basically. Again, it was great to see Matt Murdock and Charlie Cox and Tatiana Maslany. I wasn't here last week to do my review, but Charlie Cox has been amazing in this show in the last 2 episodes, and him and Maslany have fantastic chemistry together. So I can't wait to see probably them moving forward together in the MCU. As a whole, I thought the first episode was really good. I think the first 2 episodes were really good. I thought that the last 2 episodes were also pretty solid. I thought last week's episode was my favorite episode of the season. Obviously, Daredevil being in it was good, but I thought totally it was the most consistent comedy of the entire series in an episode. Daredevil wasn't in an over-the-top Daredevil. It felt like Daredevil to me. And Cox and Maslany did a great job. I thought the ending also really did a good job showing where Jen is mentally. They don't really go through with that in the finale, but Jen's being exposed in front of everyone. That was a great ending. So I thought last week was a really good episode. I thought this was a solid episode. It wasn't great, but I had a good time watching this episode. I thought the first 2 were good, but let's just move to my general thoughts. And I do believe that this show has really just become a total mixed bag of a series for me. Some episodes are really good, and then there's some episodes that are just meaningless, and then there's some episodes that are just really bad. And this, to me, is my least favorite MCU show to date. Now, the biggest reason why is that I know a lot of people who love the show thought the show was funny and really was on the same wavelength of that sitcom. But for me, I just wasn't laughing at all during the show. I was actually laughing more during the finale episode than it was to the first 8 episodes combined. I just didn't find the show that funny whatsoever throughout the entire show. And when you're a sitcom and the characters will say a joke and then pause and you're not laughing, you kind of feel bored sometimes. I feel like they've made Jen really unlikable throughout the entire show. She's supposed to be a lawyer and she acts dumb in a lot of situations. I felt like the show was trying to explore women's stereotypes in the workplace and then put all of those stereotypes on their main character, which I just did not understand if they were trying to say these are not stereotypes of women in workplace, but then they gave our female lead character all of those stereotypes. It was just like the whole show is basically a bit about how everyone around her is basically like, do you have a boyfriend? She's basically like, no, I have a good work and all this stuff. But she really, the first 7 episodes was about basically, why do I not have a boyfriend? And I just found it to be a very uninteresting storyline. You can clearly tell that they just used, for me, the fourth wall breaking to tighten up reshoots and reconstruction of the show, because a lot of these episodes were just out of order. And you can feel that they clearly shot a show in order, and then in post-production, they just kind of redone the order, and it just feels all over the place. Now, yes, I think the cast here is fantastic. I think Ginger Gonzaga, the person who plays Pug, really good. Tatiana Maslany is top tier casting in the Disney Plus shows. I'm excited to see what she does with She-Hulk moving forward. Obviously, you have Charlie Cox and Mark Ruffalo and Tim Roth, who are, and Benedict Wong, who are all fantastic throughout the show. The cast is not the problem here. It really is the script that is, for me, killed a lot of episodes of the show. I just didn't feel emotionally invested in anyone throughout the entire show. I just didn't feel emotionally invested. Some episodes just felt like very much filler episodes. I think this show, if it was a case of the week show, it would be more interesting, but it keeps going like different directions. And because they did a whole breaking the fourth wall episode in this finale, a lot of the storylines they've been building up just end with a whimper. And just took a lot of the stakes out of the show. So for me, overall, this is my least favorite MCU show. And now, again, it's subjective. I think the cast is amazing. I cannot wait to see She-Hulk in the MCU moving forward. I would be open to a season 2 if they can rightfully construct the show structurally in a right way. I would be down to keep, again, I'm down to keep watching Tatiana Maslany as this character. But for me, it was a very mixed bag of a show due to the structure of the show, the script, and just the comedy just not on the same wavelength for me. So that's my thoughts on season 1 of She-Hulk and the season finale of She-Hulk here. This is actually, I think, the last Disney Plus show of the year. I've been breaking down Moon Knight every episode. I broke down Ms. Marvel every episode. Now we're finishing up with She-Hulk every episode. So that's my thoughts on this episode. Please like the video, subscribe, ring the bell if you're new to the channel. More videos. Yesterday I did a review of Halloween Ends. The day before, I did a review of Andor episode 6, upcoming on the channel. Monday, a box office breakdown show. Wednesday, a review of episode 7 of Andor, and Black Adam review next week as well. So please subscribe, ring the bell, and I'll see you guys soon.